Hey, Bree. Sandy.
What?
How you already drink? We didn't even.
Girl, because this episode is about to be betrayal. I mean, it's about to be, this is about to be an episode, okay? This is going to put us on the map. No, I'm just playing.
Internet.
You know what I'm saying? Internationally known, okay?
It's like, how she already said, like,
Yeah.
hold on, give me a second.
Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. How you feeling? Feeling check. How you feeling, Bree?
Feelings check. We haven't done that in a minute.
I know.
I'm good. I'm good.
That's good. It's not an emotion. So let's. Yes, I'm doing it. I am doing
I
it.
understand that you have a doctorate, but don't you ever disrespect my man. Don't you ever do that.
Well, it's not an emotion. So let's go deeper. Let's go to the next level. Okay.
So you're going to continue to be disrespectful.
Yes.
I'm so confused.
So how are you? Oh, that's a feeling. Confused. It's definitely a feeling. Yes, it is.
That's before I was not confused.
Okay. So how are you feeling?
Antagonized.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, hold me accountable for that, okay?
Anywho. Oh, hold on. Do. You know what time it is.
Oh.
You know what time it is. Welcome back.
Oh, my Lord.
The girl, she did that.
Uh-huh.
Welcome back. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Okay.
All right. Welcome back to Girl, She Did That, y'all. Yes. We in this thing. So, what you drinking on today? Just sip on this tea.
As always. Yes, as always.
Not this Cabernet. I ain't drinking Cabernet. You drinking what? Cabernet?
I need some Chardonnay. That's my hot girl summer drink. A little chill, you know. It's really good. Like, when I was younger, I was like, eh. But like now that I'm getting older, my palate has changed. And I literally just not getting to Chardonnay, like maybe in the last like 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But like 6 months before that, you couldn't pay me to pick up one. Now the bottle.
Growth.
Put it down. I don't want it.
Not the growth. Okay. All right, growth.
What are you drinking?
These people gonna be out here judging me, but I'm still drinking Hennessy, so that's fine.
Yeah. Hennessy.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, girls. So, what are we talking about today?
So today, no. Let's backtrack.
Okay, we'll be backtracking to.
Who we're honoring?
Oh, okay. So
production
today,
producer.
First of all, I'm producing. Okay,
exactly.
You see this happening? It's happening. Anyway, we're not gonna get into that. So we thought it was fitting today to honor a woman who came long before us, right? Was here in our lifetime, but eventually elevated to heaven. You know what I'm saying? She got her I shall wear a crown. Okay, there you go. You know, I'm a director too. You know, I direct.
Okay.
Dr. Maya Angelou, okay? Because she is definitely, I'm not going to call her a girl because she is a woman. She was a woman. You know, she was real big on that respect factor, and I respect you even in death, okay? But we thought this quote was fitting for today's topic today. And that is, when someone shows you who they are, you believe them the first time. Somebody say it with me. The first time.
The first time.
So with that, what are we talking about today?
Okay. So today we are going to be talking about betrayal.
Ooh.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get on to this definition.
Okay. All right. Not your piece of paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not you
Scully.
taking notes. Not you taking notes.
Scully.
Okay, Scotland. Okay. All right. Okay.
Okay. So betrayal is an act of deliberate disloyalty. It is the sense of being harmed by the intentional actions or omissions of a trusted person.
Mm.
And then there's also 3 stages of betrayal,
Mm-hmm.
which is shock slash disbelief,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
grief slash anger,
Mm-hmm.
and then rebuilding trust.
Mm.
And then there's 4 common forms of betrayal, which
Mm-hmm.
is harmful disclosure of confidential information, disloyalty,
Mm.
infidelity, and dishonesty.
Mm.
And last but not least, the highest form of betrayal is gaslighting. Mm-hmm.
Not
Mm-hmm.
the gas.
Mm-hmm. Correct. So there's a lot that we're going to talk about, break down today when it comes to betrayal. There's a lot of components when it comes to it. So let's
Absolutely.
first start off with the definition, which is an act of deliberate disloyalty.
Mm.
So I feel like when it comes to betrayal, I think that it's very quick and sharp. That's what I
Mm.
think of betrayal. It's like you're like walking along and somebody just like it's just
Like
slap.
they did.
You know what I'm saying? You're in the middle of a sentence. Like,
Brian.
you know what I'm saying?
This is wild.
So that's how I think of betrayal. I think that it catches you off guard. Sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
don't see it coming type of thing. You can
Mm-hmm.
think that like everything is great, everything is good, like, this is perfect, I'm so excited. And it's like, oh yeah, like that's not how the story ends.
Mm.
Type of thing. And it's like, oh, so what is it that you have to say? Type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about the definition?
I would agree with the definitions. I feel like it is very sudden.
Mm-hmm.
It catches you off guard, and sometimes you don't even know how to respond to it. Right. Which is why I like those 3 stages that they have. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people, they definitely are shocked and in disbelief, but they stay in that grief and that anger.
Mm.
No. And for me, anger is not really an emotion, it's something underneath that. So let's
Mm-hmm.
get to those feelings that's under anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't ever get to the rebuilding trust part,
Mm.
right? I think they stay stuck in that grief and anger, and I'm about to retaliate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because I know for me, I'm not really big into like horoscopes and all that stuff, but as
Mm-hmm.
a Scorpio, if somebody do something to you, you definitely want to get them back, right? You gonna be spiteful. In some form of fashion, you gonna be spiteful.
For
And you
sure.
know how I like to fight, Brianna, right?
Yeah,
You know, okay.
I
Let
do.
me just pull it up for y'all.
Pull it up.
Pull it up because I want to read this to the folks so they know, right? That this is how I'm gonna fight back. All right,
Okay.
because like I said, I'm a Scorpio, right? And get a little spiteful, but I am also grounded in the word of the Lord.
Amen.
Okay.
Amen.
So in times where I have experienced some form of betrayal, mine is more of dishonesty. I think that's where mine would probably come from. Not telling the truth about things, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So typically I go to Isaiah 41:11-13.
Okay,
All
word.
right. You ready? And it reads,
What to read?
count on it.
Yeah.
Everyone who had it in for you will end up out in the cold, real losers. Okay? Real losers. Those who work against you will end up empty-handed, nothing to show for their lives. All right? When you go out looking for your old adversaries, you won't find them. Not a trace of your old enemies. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
All right? Not even a memory. Because that's right. I, your God, have a firm grip on you, and I'm not letting go. I'm telling you, don't panic. I'm right here to help you. That's how I fight. So
In the word.
with the word, they say put your whole armor on. You know what I'm saying? I got it on. Because that Scorpio is about to let God get to it. Let God get to it. Let God get to it. Ooh.
I just here for the dance.
Not the dance. Let
See.
God get to it. Let him get to it. Let him get to it. Hey, let him get to it. Hey.
You know what I'm saying? But you got to dance like David.
No, not like David. Okay, David.
Like David dance.
Okay.
Feel the word. Dance, dance, dance like David. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And you finished? Are you done? Are you done?
To be back to old church.
The whole church. All right. All right. So.
I think that I definitely agree when you talk about the shock of belief and disbelief and grief and it getting to rebuilding trust. I think also, especially when it comes to relationships.
Oh, what's that right there? What's that?
Well, so we.
What's that? It came
So
up. I saw it. I seen it.
because when it comes to the rebuild of trust, I think that we, especially if you go and tell a friend or a family member, it's extremely difficult to get to that stage, right? Like, I think that many people probably don't even know that rebuilding trust is a part of the process when it comes to betrayal.
Absolutely.
Like, people probably think it stops at grief and anger. Like, oh, you did something, you're wrong, let me cut you off. Like, that's where the ghosting comes in. That's where the blocking comes in. That's where, there's no room for redemption.
Right.
At all. It's just like, you did this to me, I'm done, and good luck in your future endeavors. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that, everything that people are going to be able to bounce back from, but I do feel like we often in a society don't want to deal with our feelings. So we avoid them by blocking. So, because you can also discontinue a relationship and not necessarily block that person out. Now, if they're being harmful to you, again, being intentional about that and they're being deliberate about that and they're continuously doing that, then there's only but so much a human can take.
Sure.
But if this is like not a common offense, then maybe that third stage needs to be applied. That's what really made me think about rebuilding trust when, we did a little bit of research, was that like I didn't even think about that being a part of a stage when it came to betrayal. I thought it stopped at anger and grief. Like, you just got to cut your losses.
Especially if it's especially if it's that deep. Like if it was that deep of a betrayal for you, and you feel like you need to, how you do it? Yeah. Then okay, fine, boundaries, right? But if that person is worth something to you, right? Then yes, reconsidering how do you go through the phases of rebuilding that trust with them, right? And that can be hard to do, okay? Especially when you talk about relationships, right? Because if that person or those two people in the relationship tell their family, let's talk about family. They talk about their tell their family, right? The family ain't never about to get over that. I'm just gone. Right? Y'all done moved on. Y'all happy. Y'all, hey, I'm on Facebook. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? That's my girl. Right? And they like, he's still trifling. She still ain't she. So then how do you rebuild that level of trust back up? Right?
I think that that's difficult because it's like you want to share pieces of your life with people. And I think that what people often do is that they end up isolating and not talking about certain things when it comes to betrayal. But sometimes, you know, if I can express my happiness to you or my frustration or whatever other emotion, why can I not express this betrayal? And also, you know, this is happening to somebody that they love. So I understand how difficult it could be to trust somebody again who's hurt your loved one. But I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like, I'm on whatever you want. You know, so if you want to take this person back, then take them back. You know, that's a choice in which, because it happened to you. It didn't happen to me. Right. You know, that's one of the things that I will say to apply to your life when something happens to somebody like that. To an extent, I can't control what you allow, right? And being supportive as a friend, which is what we do as friends, is that we support each other, good or bad, right? But I think that, yeah, it's extremely difficult to navigate that rebuilding when you've added other people to the mix, family and friends, or even people who are big on social media as far as like content creators or influencers, and they allow people into their relationships, and then betrayal comes in to the relationship.
Yeah.
And now the whole internet don't like your man.
Yep.
Now the whole internet don't like your girl.
Right.
You know? Like, you could be posting a picture with ice cream and it's like, oh yeah, like, are you out by yourself eating ice cream, or who you with eating ice cream? Like, and that happened 5 years ago. Y'all done had about 2-3 kids during that time. And you still talking about something that happened in 2019.
Right. Not 2019.
No.
Before the pandemic.
Exactly. We had a whole pandemic. And you out here talking about something pre-pandemic. No. Let it go. But there's some people out there who are just going to hold on to that. But I also think that, just like I just got educated in this moment, I don't think that people know that, like, rebuilding is not something that's impossible.
Sure.
What do you think?
I ain't gonna lie. Told you, I'm spiteful. Right.
And I'm petty. I don't want to,
right.
appear as if I'm like Miss Perfect. Somebody throw something at me, I'm like, oh my God, I understand.
Right.
Like, it's like,
like, I mean, thinking about like some of the experience I've had, in my adulthood, where I have felt betrayal, I've been really pissed off. Really, like, I never made it to rebuilding the trust. You know what I'm saying? I stayed at that grief and anger. I stayed at that, and I stayed at that for quite some time. But all that did was eat at me. Right? Because people often say, forgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you. Right? And I believe that. Because if you're going to let something like that eat at you for years and years, like, you wasting your life away at that at that point. Right? And also, I think you mentioned earlier in the earlier part of the show about how people, you block and you cut off, right? Because you avoid. I have done that. I've done that too, right? Which never gave space for rebuilding, right? And I feel like I was justified in all my blocks.
Yep. Absolutely. You feel justified. You feel confident. I'm like,
yeah, I feel justified. Even with, like, I have some people or people I know or friends that, they're friends with their exes. No, not me.
No.
I don't. For what? What are we doing that for? Like, I don't feel the need to continue to see this person, be friends with this person. I need to go on with my life. You know what I mean? And It's some people that they cool with that. But for me in this house, no. Right. But also I wasn't as evolved as as I am now either, as
Right.
far as having boundaries and setting certain things. So like even with my spouse, my husband, like he already know if we were very clear with each other in dating. If you do this, that, and the third, this relationship will end. Right. He made that clear to me. I made that clear to him. And we set those boundaries on the onset of our relationship. Right. Now, I'm not saying that things won't come up where we have to be like, okay, this is something that you cannot cross the line. You know what I mean? But I wasn't as evolved as I am now, where I can talk about my boundaries. Right. Because I just let people do what they wanted to do and how they wanted to do me. So no, not at this gentle age that I not at this gentle 30 blank 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 age that
Okay. We're still there. Okay. Working on the growth.
we're working with the road. No. But like you said, I don't want people to think that I'm just Miss Goody Two Shoes, because I'm not. Because I really struggle with betrayal, especially if I've been very kind and my heart is in the right place. You know what I'm saying? That bothers me a lot. And I you and I have talked about that. That really bothers me. For you to betray, disappointment, I think is a word you used with me earlier. Definitely disappointment. Especially when I know I've done everything I could. So I struggle with the rebuilding. Luckily, I think I'm making my way to that stage of life. Should betrayal become a thing,
Yeah, I think that betrayal is just an ongoing work in progress. Like I don't think that at this point there's anything to like, oh, like you gotta build this up to like basically build resilience for betrayal. Like I think that it's just really about like becoming a better person and knowing, like you said, having clear boundaries and like what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with. Like sometimes you just don't make it to the rebuilding trust, just don't look the same for everybody. Yeah. So 4 common forms of betrayal:
Okay.
harmful disclosure to confidential information, disloyalty, infidelity, and dishonesty. I think that when I think about harmful disclosure to confidential information, I think of me telling somebody something in confidence and it's coming out of somebody else's mouth.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that.
I think that, there's certain things that you share in all relationships that you just feel comfortable with that particular person. And although you may be in the same friend circle, or you may have, relatives or whatever, you may be comfortable with this person to disclose this information to. And I think that it could be damaging to the relationship for you to tell someone something that was just so that was a secret, or something that you felt like yeah, like that person's our friend too, but I don't trust them with that information because of X, Y, and Z. Feel comfortable with you because of X, Y, and Z. So, you may tell one friend something, but you may not have told the other friend because you feel like they're judgmental. But I think that, even if that person's like, oh, well, why didn't you tell me, you really feel like I'm judgmental, we can address that, but we also have to address, I think in sometimes those situations, the betrayal doesn't get addressed either. It's
Right.
just how that other person was harmed by what you thought about them that you didn't express out loud. But it's like, if I want to tell them, I'll tell them, or I'll tell them on my own time. But that wasn't the time. And not using my stuff was not a good moment to have this conversation.
For sure. For sure. Disloyalty and infidelity, dishonesty. What do you think Which one of those do you think people probably experience the most?
Infidelity.
Infidelity.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that infidelity is what we deal with, but I think you can't have infidelity without disloyalty and dishonesty. Right? Because it's like you have betrayed you. Infidelity is dealing with someone else that you don't have a commitment to.
Yeah.
So that's disloyalty. And then you were dishonest about it because the person didn't know that you were dealing with somebody outside of y'all's relationship. So I think that when it comes to those things, that's what I was saying as far as like the rebuilding, it becomes extremely difficult because people are like, oh, you know, also like with deal breakers, like people feel like, oh, well, that person cheated, so your deal breaker should be my deal breaker. And somebody might say, I can deal with a little cheat.
A little what?
A little cheat. You know what I'm saying? They might have a hall pass. I don't know how you run your relationship, but what I decide to tolerate may not be the same thing you decide to tolerate.
Yeah.
And I think that people thinking that like, oh, if it was me, then nobody asked you.
Right.
Nobody asked you. You're not the one who got betrayed.
Right. Right.
Why would I listen to you? Type of thing. So I think that I think that again, like just speaking to relationships, I think that people being in bliss of their relationship and like, oh no, like everything's going great and this and that, and then that bomb being dropped of the dishonesty ends up damaging, if not destroying, that relationship of betrayal. What do you think?
I think I mean, I agree with you, certainly. But when I think about infidelity, I'm thinking about, are you talking about emotional infidelity or physical infidelity?
Both.
Because some people don't think emotional infidelity is the thing.
Yeah, because I don't think that people take emotional as serious as they do physical, because it's just like mental health and physical health. Like people take their physical health much more seriously than they do their mental health. So I think it's the same thing with emotional and physical, infidelity. Is that like people feel like, oh well, as long as you didn't drop them draws, we good.
Did you say?
Uh-huh.
Did you
Yeah.
say drop them draws?
Drop them draws. Okay. Like, oh, you went out on a little dinner? Okay. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it no more. But
not a little dinner. Did you? But okay, no, I ain't gonna even go there. Okay.
did you?
Nope. No. No. Okay, so then, as we move forward, how to heal from betrayal. All right, so this is some of the things that literature suggests. Okay. So number 1, talk with someone you trust about the betrayal. Okay, seems simple, right? Practice self-care, which is important. I think we should do that in most things. Acknowledge and accept the betrayal. Don't blame yourself. Be patient with yourself. Give yourself space from the person that betrayed you. Practice forgiveness. Okay, that's what I just said. Oh, okay. Avoid retaliation. But remember, Isaiah 41:11-13. For real. For real. It works every time. I live by it.
Yeah, I think that those are definitely things that you should use to cope. I think the only one I don't believe in wholeheartedly is probably retaliation, but that is because of situational. Like I'm a firm believer I'm a firm believer that if like somebody cheats on you, you have the right to cheat back, and then we can go to therapy.
Brianka.
Hmm.
So you will let me get this right because
Okay.
you just dropped a bomb. You dropped
You
the
dropped a
bomb.
bomb on me.
Wait a minute
Charlie,
now.
Charlie.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute now. Okay, you just said. I just want to make sure I heard this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
That if somebody cheats on you, you feel
Yes.
you have the right to cheat back
Right.
and then go to therapy.
And then go to therapy.
Is that really healthy? Is that healthy though?
I don't think it's about healthy. I think it's about leveling the playing, right? Because I also feel like
Like I did you wrong, you did me wrong.
I did you wrong, you did me wrong. I take you back, you take me back. You know what I'm saying? That, you know what I'm saying? Inflation was talking about something.
Okay,
But
okay, okay.
I guess I'm just sometimes I feel like with building the trust, I feel like sometimes people don't know what's being built, right? Like I don't think that people, if you are a person who's like, oh, I would never have done this to this person and they did that thing, I guess I'm like, okay, once you express why you did it, sometimes you have to remind people like, hey, if you do this again, then this could possibly be the consequence. I just feel like when it comes to cheating, especially at our big age, I
Not our
feel
big.
like you should know the harm it could do. Like you either witnessed it at this point or you've done it at this point. So
So
the fact
you
that
so you want them to feel how you felt.
correct. So that when we go to therapy, now we both can talk about the betrayal versus me just sitting there talking about my betrayal.
So but do two wrongs make it right?
Um,
This is from my own knowledge.
I don't think that we trying to make it right. I think that I I feel like the best experience is I think that the best lesson is through experience. And there's some people who have to learn through experience. So let me be your teacher. That's what I'm saying. Mm-hmm.
Now let me be your teacher.
Let me be your teacher.
So let's go
Yeah.
to school.
Enroll. FAFSA.
Hmm.
But I feel like that with cheating. Because it's
Okay.
just, I just feel like, yeah. And if that's going to get you, because I also have noticed that sometimes one person might want to go to therapy and the other person doesn't.
Yeah.
And I feel like oftentimes the person who's done wrong is the one who doesn't want to go to therapy. And it's like, well, where do we go from here? What do
Right.
we do with
Right.
it? What do we do with this? So it's like, again, the lack of accountability. Now you're putting it and you're leaving it in my lap. Like, what are we doing? Because you don't want to really find out the root of why you can't deal with whatever emotion that brought you to infidelity. Whether that's lack of communication or, not feeling heard or, you're not, certain things aren't being done for you, blah, 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 blah. The list goes on and on and on. There's just so many other things you could do besides cheating. That's just how I feel. So yeah, that's the only one I don't agree with. But all the other ones I agree with, and only to that particular situation.
Okay, well you just taught me something.
You're welcome. We're here to learn.
Not we're here to learn, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up, because this was a juicy topic. It was
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
definitely juicy, and I appreciate this conversation.
Yeah.
Because it needs to be had. Is there anything else we should include in this discussion?
Oh, last thing.
Mm-hmm.
gaslighting being the highest form of betrayal. I don't think that I knew that before doing our research. I think that I always thought of gaslighting as a form of lying and not as a form of betrayal. Like, I feel like gaslighting is like an exaggeration of something.
Sure. Yeah, I didn't know that either, even though I often use that. And my husband would be like, "Here you go again with that."
Oh, gaslighting?
Like, ain't nobody gaslighting you. You know, we just be playing around each other. But yeah, I guess I didn't see that as a form of betrayal either. But it definitely could be. It definitely could be. And I can see how it could be the highest form because it's a form of manipulation. Honestly, you know, you trying to manipulate your way around a situation. But whatever. Okay, I ain't gonna even get into that. Well, okay. Okay.
Well, as we wrap up, you guys know, reach us on our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Remember, podcast, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, iHeart, all those different.
The list goes on and on and on.
The list goes on and on. Whatever you listen to your podcast, we're on there. So leave a comment, give us some feedback.
Subscribe.
And also, if you have any like questions that you want us to answer, we also have an email. It's Bree, Bree, and Sandy with 3 Y's at gmail.com. So bring in your questions. We would love to answer them. There could be questions about, mental health, relationships. And if you had any questions about us, we'll answer them as well. So until next time, guys.
Till next time. Bye.
Bye.